James City County Board of Supervisors to order for the purpose of a business meeting. Mr. Stevens, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Wainwright?
Here.
Ms. Knoll?
Present.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Here.
Ms. Larson?
Here.
Mr. McGlynn?
Here.
All present.
Can I have a motion to amend the agenda for today to add a presentation for the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District annual report, and to add board consideration regarding an amendment to the board meeting calendar?
I will move that we amend the agenda.
Mrs. Stevens, please call the roll.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlynn?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. I understand we have an opportunity today to have an introduction from Chief Jameson. Welcome, Chief.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Today, I just wanted to take a brief moment of your time to introduce our new Deputy Chief of Police, David White. I'll give you a little bit about David's background and then ask him to say a few words and certainly answer any questions that you may have. David White brings over 25 years of law enforcement and leadership experience to his role as Deputy Chief. Since joining James City County Police Department, he served as our accreditation manager, demonstrating strong leadership, professionalism, and forward-thinking approach. David holds a bachelor's degree in public administration from George Mason University and a master's degree in criminal justice from Northeastern University, along with completing several leadership programs. David began his career with the Fairfax County Police Department in 1999, serving in a variety of roles before retiring as a captain in 2024. David and his wife Lori have been married for 17 years and have 3 children. They moved to James City County in 2024 to be closer to family and quickly embrace the community. It is my privilege to introduce you to David J. White, who is our next Deputy Chief of Police for James City County.
Chief White, welcome. Welcome to James City County, and as you are already aware, you've come into a great organization that has a high standard of performance, and we know that you'll add to that from day one. Would you like to say a few words?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity to the chief, and I look forward to working with you all, your staff, Mr. Stevens, Mr. Reinheimer, to continue to make this county one of the safest jurisdictions, if not in the state, in the country.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chief. So our next item presentation is the Virginia Peninsula Community College Annual Update. Today we have Todd Estes, who is the Vice President for Workforce Development and Innovation, Dr. Scott Staubel, who's the Interim Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Tracy Wright, who's the Director of Campus and Community Initiatives for the Historic Triangle Campus. Welcome.
Very much, and I want to thank the board very much for allowing us to be here today to provide this brief status update and highlight a few initiatives that we have underway that we're quite excited about. So my name is indeed Todd Estes. I'm Vice President of Workforce Development. My colleagues would follow and introduce themselves as we go along, and we'll try to be brief, but we certainly welcome questions. I'd also like to acknowledge Doug Powell, our VPCC local college board member, who's here today, James City County representative. So thanks for Mr. Powell for being here. So jumping right in, on the first note I'll make is that I can advance the slides. That's the first note that I'll make. And then the next note will be the college is quite healthy. So what you'll see here is a graph that shows our academic enrollment, and you'll see that we are on the incline. So we have 2 consecutive years of enrollment growth in our academic programs and on track for a 3rd consecutive year. That's actually really, really exciting. So that's reversing a trend where we've been on a reduced enrollment for quite some time, and that's a national trend where community colleges have actually had reduced in enrollment since really around 2012. So we're excited that we've been able to reverse that trend. And what do we attribute that to? So we do attribute that to a pretty robust and aggressive enrollment management plan, which includes a lot of community engagement, a lot of work within our communities, within our K-12 systems. We made some really critical hires. When you look at some of the folks we brought on board to be career navigators and advisors, we've looked a lot at process improvements to make sure that students can easily access our institution, as well as in some increased enrollments and dual enrollment. So I'll let my colleague, Dr. Scott Staubel, speak to that when he follows me. So if we get a little bit deeper into where those enrollments are coming from, so you'll see in this slide that for James City County and Williamsburg combined, so James City County is about 12% of our total enrollment, and you combine that with Williamsburg, we're at almost 16%. So we're very excited about the citizens that we serve here in James City County with our location at our HT campus in James City County, along with our Skilled Trades Center out in Tuano. Our student enrollment is strong, and we are continuing to work to grow that percentage of enrollment within this very community. So moving to our workforce training programs. So a little bit of explanation required on this slide, but I'll share that our fast forward programs are our accelerated training programs aligned with industry credential. So this is intended to be workforce training for immediate employment within our local community. So one of the key pieces of this training is that it is eligible for state-provided financial assistance. And so what you see on this graph is that you'll see a couple of things. So one, you can see enrollment growth because the distribution of allocation and fast forward financial aid has significantly increased since its inception in 2017. But we have exceeded our allocation, so our funding allocation for 4 consecutive years. So that's important to this conversation. And one, we're being quite successful in enrolling more students and growing programs within all of our communities across the state, because this is a state level slide. But two, we have exceeded the amount of financial aid that was available to give to students, which paid down the cost of tuition for those training programs. So the state actually covers 2/3 of the cost of a training program and fast forward training through this financial assistance. So we have shown significant growth, 20% year over year for 2 consecutive years until this fiscal year, where we had some headwinds in financial assistance. So in this slide, you'll see that we exceeded our allocation. Well, this year in our FY26, we had to live within our means. So we did not have an ability to shift funds to make our programs whole. So we have seen a slight fall off in enrollment in FY26 due to those budgetary constraints. We just had less financial assistance to give to students this year. So that has impacted FY26. The good news, so here's the half full. The good news is our next budget looks quite strong. I think we all collectively know we don't have a signed state budget yet, but we do expect, we went in with a pretty significant state level ask for fast forward so that we could get back to our growth trend. It appears that the House and the Senate have included that in the current budget. So if it gets signed, we do feel like FY27 to FY28 will be quite strong, again, with the financial assistance we need to continue growing programs in this community and across our entire region. So getting into a few details about where our folks are coming from. So you'll see our largest enrollments are in Hampton and Newport News, so really our largest center of residency. But you'll see coming in third there is Williamsburg, James City County. So we enrolled about 170 students, and these are FY25 numbers. So about 170 students, and that is showing growth from previous years, and we expect to return to a growth phase in our fast forward programs in FY27 and FY28, as long as that budget bill gets signed that we anticipate that it will. And so we'll be back in a growth phase. So with significant, for this community, emphasis on our skilled trades programs in Tuano, on our skilled trades facility, as well as additional programming at our historic Triangle campus. We have added a couple of new programs, or will be adding a couple of new programs specifically for this community. That includes hospitality. So that'll be a brand new fast forward training program specifically designed and really initiated for this community, as well as a behavioral health technician program. So these will be 2 new programs that will be delivered in Williamsburg here in the matter of the next couple of months. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Scott Stabile, to pick up with dual enrollment.
Hello, I'm Dr. Scott Stabile. I am the Interim Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs at Virginia Peninsula Community College. Thank you for allowing us to come speak. I'm going to pick up talking a little bit more about enrollment, but this time specifically focused on our dual enrollment students. So dual enrollment students are students who are still in high school, but also take college courses with us for both college and high school credit concurrently. So that's the sort of definition of our dual enrollment. As you can see, since about 2021, our dual enrollment has grown significantly. We do expect that rapid growth to continue over the next few years, primarily because of legislation from the state, the CCRV legislation, that mandates that all public high schools must offer the full UCGS pathway, which is 30 credits. It's basically their courses I want, basic courses. Gen Eds, thank you. Whew. So it's the Gen Eds for those 30, and they also have the passport, which is a little less at 16, but those are mandated. And so, that's why we're seeing this rapid growth. So diving into these specific numbers, you can see Williamsburg and James City County have been a little bit separated here. Of course, WJCC is generally considered as one entity, but together they're making up somewhere in the vicinity of about 17–18% of our dual enrollment over the last few years. And if we look at the breakdown here, these numbers look a little bit wonky. Just to give you a brief explanation of what's going on with these numbers, the general trend across the board is that those numbers have stayed the same, right around 350 enrollment. The way that they were coded in our system changed. And so by correcting addresses, so these are based on the address of the student, the addresses were corrected for the 24-25 year to correctly include people in Williamsburg who were in the city of Williamsburg and people in James City County who were in the James City County. And so that's why you see those numbers shift so dramatically. The overall number of students that are participating in dual enrollment across WJCC stayed the same. It's just that the way we coded them in the background has been corrected to accurately reflect. So don't let the numbers throw you. It's a little different. With that, we are also seeing a large increase in our retention and graduation of students. It's one way that VPCC contributes to strengthening the local workforce. As you see, our retention and completion rates have been trending upward. This is due to initiatives like free tutoring, intrusive advising, student engagement, our athletics program, and faculty professional development that have been centered on instructional methods for the diverse learners that we serve to help them continue towards their goals at the college. Overall, we've got things like campus wellness. So some of the things that we are working on doing, we're actually going to be reopening our wellness center at the HT campus up here in Williamsburg, and not the near future, right? Later this week. Yeah, so that's coming up right now. So the Wellness Center is reopening to provide students with the opportunity, and faculty and staff, the opportunity to stay at the college to work out. We, of course, also have our athletics programs growing. We have various pathways, so we're also helping people transfer to our four-year partners. So we have various Bridge 2 programs, which are partnerships with our four-year partners that allow them to start at Virginia Peninsula and then transfer seamlessly into their 4-year. So we have those Bridge 2 partnerships with CNU, with ODU, with ECPI, with Hampton University, and with William and Mary. And so we're seeing transfer fairs as well for all of those and others to make sure that students are aware of all of their transfer options. We are also seeing student engagement being revamped. We're enhancing student activities, we're offering more events at the college, and we're providing leadership development opportunities to our students to help create a vibrant campus culture of belonging. We also have a lot of career readiness, so we're using career support tools like Lightcast to help students explore careers and prepare them for post-graduation success. So making sure that they've got the skills and the training that employers want in order to be successful when they leave us. So that's what we're seeing here, is we are retaining them with those. We are making sure that they are able to get jobs. We are making sure they are able to transfer successfully when they've completed their opportunities with us. And with that, I will now pass it off to Ms. Tracy Wright.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about what happens to students that graduate from our community college, your community college, right here in our community. As you can see, students that attend community colleges are more likely to reside in the community in which that community college is located. as compared to students that go to a four-year institution. So you can see it's about a 20% difference in terms of whether or not once they graduate, those students remain in that community. Another really important thing that I know you're all keeping your fingers on the pulse of is how quickly are these students being employed? And so when students graduate from the community college, you can see we have an 80.9, almost 81% for our students who graduate with a career technical degree. Within 18 months, those students find employment. Those amazing students that VP Estes and his team are providing quick and immediate training and support to go out and fill these positions that are high need in our communities. We see that within 6 months, almost 78% of them are fully employed. And then for our students that opt to transfer to a four-year institution and then seek employment afterwards, you see again, it's about within 18 months, those students have gained employment, and it's around 72, a little over 72%. Now, we don't just stay stuck where we are constantly trying to make sure that we're providing our students and our communities the most excellent facilities and opportunities. And so some of you might recall hearing about back in 2021 that the roof on our theater at the Hampton campus collapsed. Fortunate it was during COVID. We didn't have anyone in the building, so there were no injuries or worse. But we just, this January, were very pleased and proud to reopen that theater. And it's just beautiful, state-of-the-art space. We hope you'll come and visit for a production or performance there in the near future. We also, last January of 2025, opened the Center for Excellence in Early Childhood Development in partnership with the City of Newport News. And if you have not been down there, I know child care is a very hot topic for all of our communities. Many parents are struggling to find quality child care. Go down to Newport News and check out the center, and then you'll discover that on one side we have our academic spaces where our students are being trained as early childhood educators. Some of them will go on to four-year institutions to further their education in early childhood education or elementary or high school. But on the other side of the building is this beautiful Peak Childhood Development Center. So our students, as they're undergoing their educational process, can go right across the hall and do some service and learning and hands-on opportunities to further develop their skills. And then tomorrow, I've taken VP Estes' thunder, but tomorrow you can come join us in Newport News as we open up our brand new trade center that will be located there. And we're so excited to get that up and going. It will offer amazing opportunities for our Peninsula region in things such as marine, industrial training, welding, all of the things that many employers in our region are calling upon. And then I'm really excited that on the Hampton campus, we have broken ground. Well, we're doing demolition right now. So if you've driven on Highway 64, you've noticed buildings are gone, 2 buildings, and it's not, we're closing down or anything. It's because we're getting ready to erect a brand new, beautiful academic building. And as we go to our last slide, almost last. When we get to the last slide, you'll be able to see the rendering. But what's really important to me, I've come from a student development background, so I've done everything from being a dean of students to working in housing and residence life at four-year institutions. The students are why all of us do what we do. And we have great passion for that work. And you can see from these student voices that we pulled from a recent student satisfaction survey that our students are telling us that they're having a great experience. And there were a couple more voices I wanted to leave you with as we draw to a close. Another student whose voice is not there said, when challenges arise, I feel supported and encouraged to keep going. And then yet another student said, I wouldn't want to go to school anywhere else. I've enjoyed every professor I've had over the years, and I take much appreciation into how personable each one of my professors has been. So that's what our students are saying, and that makes me very proud to be a part of the VPCC team. And with that, we'll open the floor for questions, and we greatly, greatly appreciate this opportunity today. My colleagues will join me.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Like to make?
I just think it's great. I think it's great. I live up in Norwich, so your technical center up there, I tell everybody about it, and I think it's wonderful. Thank you for coming up there.
So as a mom of a recent graduate and two current VPCC students, one who's one of your presidential ambassadors, I thank you for all of the work, and we've had overall just great experiences and a good stepping stone for them to what's next for them. So thank you.
So just a couple of comments. One, your president is just so incredibly engaged and obviously has a great leadership team, which I really appreciate, and always looking for new ideas and willing to engage and figure out something that can be offered for citizenry, which I really appreciate. And I too am a fan of the Toano workforce building. I hope it can get some more people in there. I would love to see a partnership with the school system. The one thing that's got me a little, I guess, and I guess this is probably a school system question rather than you all, our growth in dual enrollment is not that great. I mean, we're at about 13%, like you said, where we were a little bigger, I think, in 21, 22, and then our friends in York County are at 26.8. And so I wonder if you know why. I mean, I was very fortunate. My youngest daughter was able to do early college and participated at the Williamsburg, James City County location, which I think helped tremendously the next semester when she went to college, four-year school at Virginia Tech. But just wondered if you had any.
Yes, yeah. So one of my exciting duties as associate vice president is that I am over the dual enrollment program, so I can provide a little background on it. So overall, like you said, the early college program has always been very strong with WJCC. They've really grown that program. They've really excelled in offering that program, and that is an excellent pathway for those students. We are working very, very closely with WJCC right now to grow into that CCRV legislation. That was passed a couple of years ago, and as WJCC and us work together, so we're partnering to try to find the instructors to teach those dual enrollment courses that they need to offer at all of their high schools. We are partnering to determine which courses, which programs could be offered dual enrollment. We're hoping to see WJCC really start to grow, of course, the 2026-27 school year. We should see those numbers increase as they start to bring the first round of those courses online. And then come the 27-28 school year, I would expect that WJCC is going to start approaching, Newport News, York County kind of numbers in terms of its dual enrollment percentage and that sort of thing. It's just WJCC has done really, really well in a very specific area, and now we are growing into new and different areas with them and helping them, through that process and making sure that everything is laid out so that we can hit the ground running and get them offering more dual enrollment. Yeah,
Thank you.
so we should see that increase.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, so we also are meeting with the board tonight. So the WJCC school board will be doing the same presentation with them this evening. And then we also have a meeting that we're working on to get with the superintendent. What was it?
Dr. Keever.
Dr. Keever.
He's very, he had a similar question
Mm-hmm.
when we shared our presentation. So he reached out immediately to say that he would like to schedule a meeting for us all talk about ways that we can expand our partnership.
Thank you. I don't want to, you know, there's always been this big emphasis on AP courses, which are great and certainly serve, but so many college four-year institutions are no longer accepting them for credit, whereas it's a different situation often with dual enrollment. So, if and that takes some strain off of families also financially, the more that they can take advantage of having such a great institution such as this one in our backyard. So, thank you.
And let me just say, I've been very impressed over the last year or so to see so much more exposure of VPCC in the news media. I think you're doing a very good job of telling your story out there, especially with your expansion of athletic teams that I think people don't don't normally necessarily associate with community college in the locality. So lots of good news coming out there, and I think that's a great message to send. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very much.
We have one more presentation, and that's Bob Lund is here from the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District with the annual report. Mr. Lund, it's always a pleasure to see you here. Thank you very much for taking time to come and tell us about the good news coming out of SWCD.
Well, thank you, Chairman Glendon. Good afternoon, members of the board, Mr. Stevens, Mr. Kinsman, and residents here and watching from home. I am, in fact, Bob Lund. I'm one of two directors elected out of James City County to represent us at the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District. And I'm going to provide a brief report about Colonial accomplishments and efforts in James City. Our annual report for fiscal year 2025 should be in your package and is available on our website. And I welcome your questions. And I also can use the mouse. Soil and water conservation districts are political subdivisions of the Commonwealth of Virginia, supporting and encouraging voluntary conservation efforts. Colonial serves James City County and 3 other counties, plus the city of Williamsburg, with 2 directors elected from each. Our 825 square mile district is home to about 175,000 people. Local government funding and grants enables Colonial to offer more to our residents than the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation cost share programs. Colonial continues complementing our agricultural conservation work with increased urban and suburban efforts. This program helps defray the cost of conservation practices on or about 3,150 acres of farmland and enables us offering technical assistance. Practices shelter topsoil from erosion and reduce nutrient runoff into our watersheds, lowering the risk of algae blooms, thus helping both protect farmland for the future and our waterways for fishing and swimming. Structural practices to address significant erosion issues contributed to the large amount of cost share money provided in 2023 and 2025. James City County farms benefited from environmental improvement practices funded by Colonial over the past 5 years, most from these top 4, especially nutrient management, which if its elements were merged would be off the chart. Major erosion gullies, like the one pictured here, expose large amounts of sediment to scouring by the force of storm water, which can then wash that phosphorus and nitrogen-laden sediment into our watershed, from which water flows carry that contaminated sediment into our rivers, and then by them into the Chesapeake Bay. Structural practices eliminate or mitigate erosion, generally by slowing the flow of water with hard and other materials. This practice slows water with a large rock-filled basin, a smaller rock-filled trench barely visible by the tree line, and permanent erosion-controlled matting in dark green surrounded with temporary erosion control matting in light yellow. The matting protects grass while germinating and roots develop. Grass which will eventually grow a sufficiently deep and strong root network to hold the grass against a slowed water flow. The picture here only shows a portion of the practice, which continues to a vegetated channel with some rocks to carry water away without erosion. The entire practice is about 200 feet long. Colonial facilitated Virginia's Dominion Envirothon, an environmental conservation-themed competition for high school students, and again sponsored the Jamestown High School team at regional and state levels. We provided education about conservation, ways to help the environment, and available programs through lectures, via hosted and attended events, in addition to our other efforts in James City County. The Virginia Conservation Assistance Program addresses non-agricultural issues. Through it, Colonial provides technical assistance and financial aid to install or implement conservation practices on developed properties. It focuses on smaller projects than James City County typically handles, and can provide complementary cost-share funding to other programs, such as the James City Clean Water Heritage programs. The cost sharing this program provided over the past 5 years is almost 2/3 of the $468,376 invested in James City County conservation via it, with participant out-of-pocket expense covering the rest. Funding carries a 10-year obligation, applicant to maintain and district to inspect. Supported practices redirect or manage rainwater so it soaks into the ground, improving groundwater reserves or use by plants, thus reducing stormwater contribution to floods, erosion, and pollution of our ponds, streams, and rivers. These were the most common practices in 2025. Environmentally responsible lawn care includes applying the right amount of fertilizer based on a soil test result and using irrigation systems efficiently to minimize wasted water. Just enough fertilizer improves swim and fishability by reducing nutrient fuel stimulation of algae blooms in our waterways with their risk of fish kills. 3 staff members are state certified in turf and landscape nutrient management. In 2025 alone, Colonial completed, and with the appreciated support of James City Williamsburg Master Garden of Volunteers, Turf Love teaches homeowners how to maintain their lawns in an environmentally responsible manner. We appreciate James City County's support for these programs, which so far this fiscal year facilitated Colonial and James City making 57 site visits, resulting in 10 applications, 4 of which have been approved. The other 6 are waiting for state funding, which has not yet caught up with demand for the program. Colonial staff work closely with staff from James City County Stormwater and Resource Protection Division and James City Service Authority to ensure county funds are used efficiently and effectively to best serve and support our residents as they work towards conserving their surrounding environment. I respectfully request your continued support for a 5% increase for these programs for James City residents and organizations so that Colonial can continue contributing to the preservation and improvement of our county environment, including swim and fishability of our local waterways for recreational and other uses benefiting both our residents and tourists. Colonial values our partnership with the county immensely and will continue to strengthen it through new conservation initiatives and opportunities. Colonial has 2 staff working on urban programs such as the Virginia Conservation Assistance. Our outreach specialist is improving our communication about offered programs such as Turf Love, Virginia Conservation Assistance, Virginia Agricultural Cost Share, and more. And one of the venues we use is the podcast program that James City County has. And the recent podcast, which focused on Turf Love, has been very nicely effective. We've seen an uptick in applications to that program, which we greatly appreciate. But moving back, also programs like the Alliance to Advance Climate Smart Agriculture. The Colonial District is a resource with unique knowledge and tailored programs, complementing others, given continued support. We continue working with partners and participating in pilot programs to enable better service to James City and efforts to secure grants to complement public money. Local funds can help our grant applications, which often require matching funds. Colonial offered conservation programs contribute to achieving the next Virginia milestone toward the 2040 federally mandated Chesapeake Bay water quality improvements. In closing, I want to again thank James City County Stormwater and Resource Protection and James City Service Authority for their support over the years, all our other partners, program participants, and the volunteers who so generously give of this time. This concludes our presentation. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lund, for the presentation, and you did a great job on all this technology in front of us. The graphics were terrific. Anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Lund?
Just thank you very much for everything you all do. Appreciate it.
All right, well, one more thing I'd like to do. I'd like to introduce Robin Woolsey, our Senior Conservation Specialist.
Good to meet you.
I think one of the things that's always impressed me about the Colonial Soil and Water Conservation District is how much you can make your dollar stretch.
We do the best we can.
Sometimes out of necessity, and we're glad that we can sometimes help in making some of these projects occur. But I know that it takes an awful lot of hard work, and appreciate very much the efforts that you and Mr. Zabinski put into serving on the board as
Thank
well. Anybody else? Very much. Okay, we now have the consent calendar, and the consent calendar consists today of 5 items. The first is a contract award for $135,200 for Little Creek Reservoir Park building renovations. The second item is a contract award of $161,794 for professional standards software. The third item is dedication of streets in Land Bay number 5 of Stonehouse Subdivision. The fourth item is the dedication of streets in the village at Candle Factory Station, or Candle Station Subdivision. And the fifth item is the minutes adoptions. Does anybody wish to move any item from the consent calendar, or do I have a motion to approve? We have a motion to approve? Okay.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great, we're moving right along today. Next, we have board discussion, and we have Ms. Brad Reinheimer to give us a Government Center update.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, board members, Mr. Stevens, and Mr. Kinsman. Pleasure to be here to give my monthly update on the Government Center and the progress. If you've driven by recently, you've seen a lot of site work going on. There is a huge mountain of dirt that's come from the site for the underground parking area. They did start the rigid inclusions this week, and I know I say that word a lot. And if you're like me, you were like, what does that mean? So rigid inclusions, if you see a large drilling type looking machine out there, they use an auger, drill deep holes, fill with concrete or grout. It's really to stabilize some softer soils and prevents us from having to go too deep with foundations. So that's really the intent of those rigid inclusions. So you'll see them out there over the next few weeks doing that. Once that's done, they're expecting to start pouring actual concrete at the beginning of May. So hopefully you'll see that progress out there. They have completed the 100% construction drawings, so they've done those and turned them over to us. Our staff and MVP are reviewing those right now and providing any comments. Should be probably towards the end of this month till we get all those comments back to them. Continue to meet with a lot of our groups. We're finalizing our outdoor space, and I'll certainly credit Paul Holt for leading that initiative. I think he wanted to be a landscape architect in another life, but he's done a great job with that. And, you know, we've really dedicated time to having some very intentional spaces for the outside around the facility. And you'll see that. The next update, I'm going to bring you some pictures so you can kind of see where we are with some of those outdoor spaces. Currently the outside of the building and to include the library, so you'll see all that. Making a lot of decisions right now as far as interior finishes, the actual texture of the brick on the exterior of the building, the colors of the brick, paver colors, what type of artificial turf we're going to have out on the patio and some other of the outdoor areas, corner guards, tile and grout colors, you name it. Ceiling designs for higher acoustical ratings. We're making all those decisions now. So we're moving along. It's going well. MVP is certainly starting to take on a more prominent role in the construction management part of this project. So that's been a great help and relief to both Mr. Holt, the working group, and myself. They'd gotten the foundation only permit previously. They're now working on the actual building permit, which should be coming soon. Library design is picking up. We met a couple of weeks ago, and you'll see, probably get more updates from me on that portion of it. As I've mentioned before, the goal is certainly to get the library design up to the government center design, so when construction starts, both will be starting at the same time. And that's really all I have as far as updates. Things are moving along well and no real hiccups or anything to report, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Okay, do we have any questions for Mr. Reinheimer?
For the update.
Do we know when we're going to hear what we're all anxious to hear?
GMP?
Yes.
So GMP, they are supposed to have that on June 1st.
Okay.
But I mean, I'll say to you the same thing I told them. I do not expect anything different than what we've been telling the whole time. I don't expect that to change, so.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
All right, we have a second board discussion on our agenda, and that is an appeal of the Planning Commission decision on conceptual plan number 25002 Bush Springs Road. The applicant in this case has requested a deferral to our business meeting of next month, and I would entertain a motion to move that item to next month's agenda. We have a motion made to move that. Mr. Stevens, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Oh, aye.
Mr. Eisenhower? Aye. Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, we go to board considerations. And first board consideration is the initiation of consideration of an amendment to the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance regarding requirements for the submittal of an archaeological study as part of the site plan for subdivision applications. Mr. Holt.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the board. In 1998, the Board of Supervisors adopted an archaeological policy which seeks to identify and protect areas where significant archaeological potential exists. In 2018, following changes in state code regarding legislative cases, the board incorporated the archaeological policy into the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinances. When we did that, the text that was adopted included 5 or 6 different areas where waivers or exceptions or modifications could be granted. However, at the request of by member earlier, staff has prepared the initiating resolution that's included in your agenda packets to consider possible amendments to add additional waiver and exception provisions to the current requirements. The board may recall the initiating resolution is a procedural step required by state code. It does not change actual text of the ordinance, so that language is not here before you today. It really just starts the process. If adopted today, this resolution, staff will take that. We'll work with the policy committee to develop some additional waivers and exceptions, and then we will bring that back to you all through the Planning Commission and Board for public hearing at the public hearing process at that time. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Holt, how long is this going to take? If we do this today, because we've got people waiting for us to make,
Sure.
to be more open-minded.
So, you know, as we continue some plan review efforts last week, I don't know that there are any that are waiting on this today. However, as you know, really with any ordinance amendment, because of the process and the public hearing requirements, it could take 3 or 4 months. But I'm confident we'd be able to definitely bring it back to you sooner than later.
So this process would involve asking the Planning Commission to undertake this study with the support of the staff, examining this question. Could you just give me an idea of how much these studies typically cost for a relatively modest development?
Gosh, I honestly
Maybe,
don't
well, you don't have to
know.
do that today,
Yeah.
just if you would mind providing that.
Sure.
And do we grant waivers?
The ones where they are most frequent, especially based on the language that's currently in the ordinance today, it really is areas where it's clear redevelopment going on. It allows for that. It sort of sets the stage for that. A lot of the larger developments that are coming through are still all greenfield development. But we have had some cases where it's clearly been redevelopment on land that was previously already developed. And within those assumptions, there obviously wouldn't be a need for a new study. But right now, those are the true redevelopment projects are fewer than the greenfield ones. So, but yeah, and there's more importantly, there have been many more smaller projects that just don't qualify. A lot of the current language exempts the smaller projects for sure. We've definitely had a lot more than those, a lot more of those.
Does have any questions or comments? We have a motion?
Motion to accept this
Motion
resolution.
to initiate the consideration?
Yeah, the zoning ordinance regarding requirements for the submittal of an archaeological study as part of the site plan or subdivision application. Thank you.
Okay. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay, the initiation of consideration of an amendments to the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance regarding the requirements for the submittal of a natural resources inventory as part of the site plan subdivision application. Okay.
Thank you very much. Again, very similar to the previous item, based on a recent request. What you have before you and what was included in the agenda packets is an initiating resolution to look at potentially adding amendments to the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance for additional waiver and exception provisions for the requirements for new developments to conduct natural resources inventories. Again, much like the archaeological policy, this was a policy that the board originally adopted in 1999. It was incorporated into the ordinances in 2018. And if adopted, similar to the last, staff would pick this process up and work with the policy committee to develop some recommendations and then bring that forward through the public hearing process.
Motion?
Motion to initiate the consideration of amendments to the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance regarding requirements for the submittal of natural resources inventory as part of a site plan or subdivision application.
Okay. Ms. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
No.
Motion carries.
And then finally, initiation of consideration of amendments to zoning ordinance regarding exterior signs.
Very much. Similar to the previous two, if adopted, the initiating resolution would allow staff to consider possibly adding amendments to the zoning ordinance to consider preventing and or regulating certain variable message display signs. And staff will work to develop some recommendations and we'll bring this forward. This is a component of the county's sign ordinance that would be amended, which is part of the zoning ordinance. be happy to take any questions.
I'll move the initiation and consideration of amendments to the zoning ordinance regarding exterior signs.
Okay, Mr. Stevens, call the roll, please.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
No.
Ms. Wainwright?
No.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right, we're down to board requests and directives.
How long am I in the hot seat first?
Always. Till 2027.
So,
Next year.
so I will do just activities first, just a couple things. I attended the new employee orientation for opening remarks with Mr. Eisenhower. Didn't realize it's typically only one supervisor, but I'm glad that I got to go and experience that and get to see a lot of our new faces in the county, if not meet them all. And then yesterday, I got a tour of our water treatment plant. That was a very nice visit. Their technology there is off the charts. That comes with, I think, thousands and thousands of charts. They have their finger on the pulse of everything and did a really good job of just explaining all of their systems, all of our water sources, how they prepare all of our water for our citizens, and how they maintain, and they really seem to have an attitude of staying ahead of any problems, which from a prevention background, I'm always a fan of. So, request. So last meeting, I presented my resolution to just have a position on the current voting that is going on, just to express support for what we have currently, our bipartisan redistricting commission, to oppose verbally. There's nothing, we have no authority, but just to say we are not in alignment with the constitutional amendment that promotes partisan gerrymandering, and urge the Virginia Supreme Court to quickly resolve any legal challenges that we know will be coming in the middle of an election cycle. So everybody received that at our meeting 2 weeks ago. I will welcome any questions or comments.
Well, I'm, can't even sit in a
Oh,
chair.
your chair.
I certainly appreciate where you're coming from, and for me, of course, it puts me smack in the middle because there's 2 Republicans, 2 Democrats. This is a very, it has turned into, I believe, a very partisan issue, and I spoke a month ago about how I felt, especially about James City County and where we would be in a new, but I am not interested in voting on a resolution because the only control that I have over this matter is my vote in the ballot box, which, by the way, I voted 2 days ago early for the first time, or yesterday for the first time ever. So I would not be, if you want to bring it forward, I understand that I would not be able to support that resolution, but.
Anybody else have anything to say? Yeah, I'd suggest that this is an issue in which we're sometimes asked to take a position on partisan issues, and one of the things that is important to me is to maintain the focus on the issues that we are responsible for addressing, and so I'd favor tabling this motion and moving on to other items. Okay, so I'll make a motion to table the resolution. Mr. Stevens, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Oh,
Ms. Wainwright?
No.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. All right.
okay. We're done.
Yeah, I'm all done.
Oh,
I haven't done that much recently, other than I attended the Old Town Medical and Dental group last night. Very interesting discussion, and just kind of discussing a little bit about what their options are with their project. So I think Mr. Stevens says we'll be talking about that soon at a closed meeting, so I won't say anything more about that, but they really see a lot of people there. You know, that was kind of interesting. And 60% of the people that come in there that they take care of are uninsured. So that's kind of interesting. They bill Medicare and Medicaid, but there's a lot of our people that are not insured. So they do a really good job, along with I guess the Lackey Clinic for our people. So it's interesting. My workforce council meeting was canceled, so still trying to get there.
I'm sure you appreciated that.
I did, actually.
Yeah.
Saves a commute through the tunnel.
I saved a commute to the tunnel, right?
Johnson?
Just two or three items for me. One, I did attend the new employee, and yeah, I'm you know, whenever I'm asked, I always tend to go, but it's always open to more than just one person. It's a good opportunity to greet the new employees who come to work for us and give them a clear understanding of the relationship that we have with them as from the board, how much we appreciate what they do for us and for the community. So it's an impressive group. The other thing I have for Mr. Stevens, and this is one of those where we need maybe a little coordination because it's not in our wheelhouse. But I got forwarded from a constituent a couple of really nice photographs of the tank trap that is in the road on the way into the post office. I mean, it'll swallow a small Volkswagen.
I sent a picture of that
Yeah.
to Representative Whitman.
Okay.
And heard back from Joe Schumacher that he was putting in it's a whole process.
Oh, I know.
But I also went
Yeah.
to the post office and about took my wheel off. And
Yeah,
so I just got out of my car and took a picture. And
Yeah, if anything we can do to try to help, because they
Yeah.
seem to occasionally come along and pour a little more asphalt in it, and it lasts for a short time period. I mean, that whole parking lot probably needs to be completely redone, but
It's a mess.
that's a highly traveled and a bone of contention for a lot of our citizens.
very deep.
The other thing I have would ask, and I just want to make sure people are aware, at least some of our constituents, that we have several places in my district, one of which is Monticello Woods, that we've been still working with, trying to get some of the developer infrastructure, stormwater stuff taken care of. And I want to thank our stormwater folks, Joe Buhite, for doing a good job of keeping the people in the community in the loop about what we're trying to do to finally get those things. Although they have been, accepted, we're still trying to get the last little bits of correction done. And I had mentioned to you earlier, Mr. Stevens, the same kind of concern, and I think staff is on top of it. But I want to let our folks that living in Shirley Park know that we are very well aware of some of the stormwater issues that are really affecting them while they're still under construction. But we're going to stay on top of that and make sure that gets fixed. So those were some concerns I had heard from some of my constituents. And aside from that, that's all I got.
Gosh, I wonder if the state's going to put in a hotline for when they take over development from localities and to take these kind of concerns on. It'd be interesting to see. One, I met with Dr. Todd Arrington, who is the new executive director for Jamestown Rediscovery. He's just gotten here in March and busy learning about historic Jamestown and our area. So I want to welcome him and appreciate the fact that he's come to take over for our long-term director that was there previously. As you know, I was on the Hampton Roads Alliance trip last week, which I found extremely beneficial about workforce, defense, technologies, innovation. Hope I get an opportunity to share with all of you things that I learned. So I won't sit here and take 20 minutes of my comments about it, but would love to share with you all some of the things that we learned. We got something from the schools about school visits, if anybody is able to go on any school visits. And then on the 31st, the chamber's doing a wrap-up of this General Assembly session. And on this Friday, I'll be attending the Power of Woman lunch for the chamber. A couple of things that I was wondering if there was any update on the situation on Route 5 with beavers. There's just standing water at Route 5, starting right past Jamestown High School. My concern is the trees, because there's just, the trees cannot absorb all that water. And at some point, we're gonna have issues with flooding onto 5 because, and no, for a while there, we were getting a lot of help from, I guess, the department, the state, but I guess they gave up. The beavers are very persistent, and so you must be as well. And I have not seen any, all I've seen is the beaver dam. There's been no activity there. And then I had reached out to Senator McDougal regarding a street in my district that a small half of a street that many years ago had not been accepted into the county system, and which was discovered when a constituent had an issue with their ditch not being cleared, and VDOT dropped them like a hot potato, and now there is no ownership of that street. So I would like to work with Mr. Kinsman next year, because I think we're gonna have to move it, or try to move it ourselves to try to get that side of the street accepted back into the system, because otherwise it's gonna be millions of dollars to get that accepted. So, those are the two, but I am working with staff on some other issues, including the gullies beside Jamestown High School. I think that's it, though. Thank you.
Just a couple of quick things. 2 weeks ago, or was it just last week? No, 2 weeks ago, I went to see the Traveling Museum for the 250th anniversary, which was located down at the Abram Frink Community Center and James River Elementary School. And it was quite a fascinating discussion. They come in with a tractor trailer that expands and includes a number of interactive displays. As I understand it, they will be present at the Jamestown Beach Festival Park when we have the weekend in April that is our celebration of the 250th anniversary of the independence of our nation. And then on this past Saturday, Ms. Larson, myself, Mr. Reinheimer, and Mr. Riffle from the school board participated in a panel on local government for the Sorensen Institute for Political Leadership, which has trained a large number of people who've gone on to very impressive careers in government, or have been better informed about their relationship to government in the Commonwealth, and always enjoy that discussion and the opportunity to meet some young and not so young people who are learning more about the Commonwealth through that Sorensen Institute. Other than that, just kind of the normal stuff that happens all the time. So with that, I will just turn it over to Mr. Stevens. Oh, sorry.
Before I forget, I would go back and ask you to amend your budget, or amend your calendar, I'm sorry.
Oh, yes.
If you're willing to do that
Yes.
before I make my comments.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
I will also add that the 250 will be at the Jamestown Settlement tomorrow and is open to the public if people want to come see the museum.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll come back to the amending of the calendar.
Yes, sir. We were asking you to amend your calendar to add the Budget Community Meeting on April 9th, 2026, 5:30 PM at the Governor Center Boardroom, 101 Mounts Bay Road, Building F.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Mr. Stevens, call the roll, please.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. So now we move on to let's see. Report of the County Administrator.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. A couple items. One, just a reminder of our Revolutionary Rhythms Weekend, April 17th through the 19th. Tickets are still available. We'll have nationally recognized headliners Plain White Tees and Kool and the Gang as part of the James City County's 250th commemoration celebration. Both acts will be performing at the Jamestown Beach Event Park, Jamestown Road. We do have a website where you can search for more information. We have posters up and certainly encourage the community to come out. Ought to have two great bands, one Friday night, one Saturday night, activities Saturday, a drone show Saturday evening, so a lot going on that weekend, and I hope the community will respond and have an enjoyable time there as we celebrate that, along with the mobile museum both days. We also have budget meetings that Doug Powell and I will release our proposed budgets for FY 2027 for the James City County Service Authority in James City County this Friday, March 27th. The proposed budgets will be available on our websites that day, so for citizens that want to look at the details, they will be there. We have scheduled our first budget public meeting for 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, April 9th in your boardroom here at the James City County Government Center. We will provide an overview of our fiscal year 2027 and 2028 plan, proposed budgets for the Service Authority and the county, and attendees will have an opportunity to ask questions and provide feedback during that time. If residents are unable to attend the meeting in person, the meeting will be live streamed and will be available on demand, so they can watch it during the time or they can watch it at a later time that's convenient to them. If we have questions that are asked or submitted prior to the meeting, we will do our best to answer them during the meeting, and then residents can always submit questions before or after the meeting by emailing them or calling us. But emailing is community.meetings@jamescitycountyva.gov. So community.meetings@jamescitycountyva.gov. Any questions they have, but in this case in particular to the budget. In addition, we'll be advertising the budget public hearings for your April 14th meeting, which begins at 5 p.m. And then based on the feedback that we receive at these two meetings, we may hold additional public meetings if necessary. Certainly, if the board would like us to do that, we're happy to. If residents show up in force, we certainly have an expectation they would want us to do that as well. So we're willing to do that. We have some dates lined up in mid to late April. And ask that you consider you're adopting the budgets on May 12th. So we'll give you about 6 weeks to get through that budgeting discussion process. So any questions on that or things I should repeat?
The April 9th meeting is in here. Is it 5:30?
It is in here at 5:30. It'll be led with Doug Powell, myself, and our finance staff in terms of presenting what is in the budget. And again, be happy to answer questions. Board members, we certainly encourage you to attend, to be there and be present, but it would really be our meeting with staff, talking with community, and just sharing what is within the budget. That's all I have.
All right, so let's move on now. We have a closed session, and may I have a motion to go into closed session for the following items: consideration of a personnel matter, the appointment of individuals to county boards or commissions, specifically the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee under pursuant to Section 2.23711A1 of the Code of Virginia, and the appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals, consideration and consultation with legal counsel, legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel pursuant to Section 2.23711A7. That's a new one to me. Okay. For the Code of Virginia, of the Code of Virginia, and pertaining to the Old Town Medical Center. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Stevens, call the roll, please.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Dahl?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlynn?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Now into closed session. back, back into order from the closed session and look for a motion to certify.
I certify that we only spoke about those matters that we said we would.
Mr. Stevens, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
I will make a motion for the following appointments to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. We reappoint Ivan Tabb, Linda Knight, and Larry Walk Sr. To new terms that expire on April the 12th, I'm sorry, to a new, it's a new 4-year term. Is this, oh, here it is, right here, expiring April 12th, 2030. And that we appoint Mr. Tommy Turner to fulfill the balance of Mr. Scott Van Voorhees' current term, and additionally for a term, again, to expire on April the 12th of 2030. And if you want me to get them all at one time?
Sure.
That we recommend to the court that we, Angela Lefflet for appointment to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Stevens, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? We have a motion to adjourn until 5:30 PM on April 9th for the budget community meeting.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Stevens, call the roll, please.
Ms. Wainwright?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. No other business before us. I will adjourn this meeting.
All right.